Hi everybody, welcome
Hi,
to Ping
everybody.
Pong Podcast / Table Tennis Talk.
Table tennis talk. Number 5.
Ping Pong Podcast or Table Tennis Talk. You're not really to judge which one it is, Table Tennis Talk or the Ping Pong Podcast. This is exercise, ladies and gentlemen. It may look like we're just standing around playing ping pong, but
It's hand-eye coordination.
rather than sitting in a chair watching TV, all you people who are sitting in a chair watching.
Watching computer.
Yeah.
Well, they could be actually watching us on their phones.
Or they could be playing ping pong while they're watching the Ping Pong Podcast to have some ping pong company.
And if you are watching on your phone, I don't want to know where you are.
You know? We get a
Some
whole lot
weird
more-
statistic of how many people surf the internet while they're in the bathroom.
So you think people are watching the Ping Pong Podcast while they're taking
I
a
don't
break?
want to know where people watch the Pong podcast.
You don't think that would be a fun comment to see? How many people are watching the Ping Pong Podcast / Table Tennis Talk on the toilet? Oh,
Oop. Right in the corner.
I think the talk about our art gallery machinations are a little too detailed for anybody to enjoy.
Yes. Looking at additional portable linear walls. Because we don't want to have to build something we then have to take out.
What is the linear walls?
Well, we need places to hang stuff, and so we've got a lot of empty floor space in the big room. So you could put up either partition walls or something in between to hang more art on.
So you're saying you would add walls, whereas you already have walls going around the outside of the room. It's kind of an L-shaped room, but there's kind of a big side and a little side. So we're talking about how do you add more wall space because we want to buy more art. Nice. Sorry, we're playing ping pong. Luckily, we don't keep score. But if we did.
Ah! Well, that had a good roll on it, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you keeping busy while I...
Oh, sorry, I should be dancing.
You think nobody's watching? Is that what you're...
I was commenting and trying to think of the next thing to say, and hadn't thought of anything yet. Whoop!
Say anything. You seen the movie Say Anything?
I don't remember the movie Say Anything. I do recall a little bit about it, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
Well, the basic premise is that, if you're a con man,
Yes,
you have to keep talking.
keep talking.
But, it's kind of a rom-com, and so I think it's just, how do you get this particular girl to fall in love with you? It's like, well,
Say it.
say anything. Don't be quiet, because she's not going to talk back to you if you don't talk to her. Whew.
Woo!
Backwards, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that was graceful. Trying to pick it up with the paddle and it didn't work.
So what did you think of the Love Parnass interview last night on Rachel Maddow?
I was interested to hear what he had to say. I will be entertained to see what other things come out, like whether he gets to be allowed to be a witness and testify or not. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
And did you think he was telling the truth?
There seem to be a lot of elements that fit. And considering that they're been trying to cover up a lot, it makes a lot of sense. Whee! Good recovery.
Thank you. I had to go around
You went around another table.
mini ice air hockey table.
Mini air hockey. So we were looking at furniture, and now We're looking at more walls, less furniture. Nobody wants to sit in there anyway.
Well, kind of the idea is if you have a box, well, you can make a maze inside the box. And each of those wall mazes you can put art on. And we do still have lots of art in the other rooms of the house, including some fairly big pieces, but it's like you don't want to put big pieces up there if you could have 2 or 3 small pieces, because what are you then going to do with the small pieces? They get hidden somewhere and nobody sees them. We've got one more big piece coming, hopefully this week. We're kind of
This week's almost over.
Yeah. They said 16th through the 19th, I think, so
Okay.
sometime soon.
Today's the 16th.
Maybe they said the week of the 19th.
Ah. Which would be
We'll have to look it up.
theoretically after Monday, since Monday's a federal holiday.
Monday is which day?
Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, federal holiday.
Happy 3-day weekend to everybody.
No mail and no banking.
Do you do anything besides mail and banking?
That's all I do. So Monday will be less for me to do.
So you think that you're going to have nothing to do on Monday?
I'm sure I'll have lots of stuff to do sitting at my computer.
Sorry. I'm sorry for failing, ladies and gentlemen.
He's sorry.
Nobody is perfect.
Sounds like I got a snap from somebody in my pocket.
Well, that's very exciting for you.
But if I take it out of my pocket to look at who sent the snap, I will miss the ball. My hand-eye coordination will go just all
Sorry,
to heck.
ladies and gentlemen. I was taking retribution for Mary being so good at ping pong. She had a ping pong table growing up. I did not.
Yes, but you and I have been playing the same amount of time every day because we almost always play together. In fact, usually you play more days than I do because you come with guests sometimes when I'm not available. And I don't usually come with guests when you're not available.
Right, but you're ping pongier than I am. True or untrue?
What?
You're ping pongier than I am.
Ping pong gear?
You're kind of wiry. I'm kind of lumpy. Won't you agree, ladies and gentlemen, that she is wiry and ping pongier than I am, and I am lumpier than she is?
I love the new word you created, ping pongier.
Ping pongier? Instead of being
pongier.
delight in being ping pongier?
Ping pongier, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be maybe the episode title, ping pongier.
Ping pongier. We always have to have an episode title because otherwise you couldn't tell them all apart. You wouldn't know whether you watched number 77 or number 75 unless they had titles and little stuff in the foreground. So what did we put in the foreground today?
Today in the foreground is a backpack in red, black, blue, and gray for $14.99.
Ooh, only downstairs at Sears, Torrance, ladies and gentlemen.
They had several other styles to choose from, but this one was the only one that was sort of not character-driven. The others were character.
So you chose the non-character one for a reason, or
I
without reason?
chose the plain one just to say I wasn't promoting any particular cartoonish figurine today.
Well, what were your cartoonish choices?
I don't remember. I think there was a superhero one, but I don't remember.
Like Mothra?
Oh yeah, Mothra. Gojira.
Good sir.
That was great.
See, give them lots of compliments and then they'll mess up, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that what
That's the key.
Is that the rule?
Well, the problem is you're getting good, and it challenges me, and then it makes me mess up, and then I have to hit you. But I can't hit it really hard because that would be mean. Except I just kind of did.
But then
So there
I
you
like
go.
the part where you said,
So there you go.
But then I have to hate you.
Well, it's all about hate, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? The Ping Pong Podcast. It's lessons in hate.
I'm sure that's it.
It might be a better title.
I think we can tell because that's when you slam it really hard back in my face.
Lesson in hate, ladies and gentlemen.
Oops, sorry. I missed the table.
Yeah, but I could have hit it. I just chose to let it go off so I would get the pretend point. It doesn't exist.
Pretend point.
Well, I let it go, even though I could have hit it.
You could have hit it because you wanted to see if it was. I do that too. I let it bounce to see if it actually hit the table. In the game of points, would it have been a point or not? For me. In in the pretend points. Just like if you don't return it over the net, then that would have also been a point.
Yeah, we try to kind of keep it on the table so we don't have to go chase it.
It's much more fun when we don't have to bend down and walk halfway around the room. Although it does roll less now that we're on carpet. When we were on linoleum over on the other side there, it was a lot more chasing going on. We also had to go get it out. Ooh, donut pal.
Kill.
We also had to go chase it back behind all the tents and chairs and stuff.
It's also interesting, meaning not really interesting at all, that I don't have to adjust these pants as much as I do with my other pants I usually wear, which were kind of stinky today, so I put them in the laundry, or at least in the hamper. They're kind of stretchy. Pants .10. She might have hit my pants before, but I didn't call it.
You definitely hit my pants. Oops, sorry. This table.
So I'm not having to adjust these pants because they don't have a stretchy waistband, whereas the other ones do. And so that may be a lesson, ladies and gentlemen.
Pants without elastic.
Pants without elastic don't need adjusting because they don't flop. You don't move around and change them. I don't know if anybody saw that, but I hit it twice and then it hit the ceiling, which is stupid. I don't like the word stupid, but I guess it is what it is.
Ah, well.
Several people downstairs at Sears today, ladies and gentlemen, trying out all the exercises.
Stair climbers, treadmills.
But no salespeople.
I didn't see anybody downstairs today.
They
Did
should
you?
hire us as backup
I saw people
salespeople
in
at Sears.
mattresses. I saw people in mattresses.
They usually don't come over here to make sales. It's usually just the people who are kind of stationed here, which is usually either Gara or Ernie or Zoila.
Now that the holidays are over.
Sorry.
Woo!
I tried to hit it hard, but also hit the table, and I hit it hard, but I did not.
You hit it hard and didn't hit the table.
So I apologize. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So I thought that Lev Parnas was an interesting interview. They were saying the reason that he did it was not because he's afraid of Trump, but he's afraid of the Russian mob. And so if they think he's hiding something, they can kill him. If they think he's already said everything, there's not that much point. Because there's nothing to try to get him to hide.
Oh, good job.
I wasn't sorry because they all went on the table.
You
I
had me
didn't hit the mark.
lunging quite a bit, left to right.
I think my back hurt last time we played because you were doing that to me. Hitting the ball at the different corners.
Oh, donut paddle, but it was entirely too high. For sure.
I'll take that as an apology, ladies and gentlemen.
It was my fault. I entirely missed the table.
That's a little crooked
Sent
too.
you chasing.
That's probably the problem I'm having is the net being crooked, but I'm sure nobody wants to watch me on the Ping Pong
Woo, sorry.
podcast adjusting a net that's 15 feet away from the camera.
It doesn't stay adjusted anyway. I've straightened it a bunch. It's busted.
Ah.
Woo! That one was kind of off the side of his face.
It did not hit my face. Hit the
Ooh, look. Comes with pencil pouch.
pencil pouch.
Matching pencil pouch.
Bargain for me.
Bargain. Bargain for the buyer.
So we watched some comedians in cars getting coffee the other day. You hadn't seen before, right?
Yeah.
So what'd you think of comedians in cars getting coffee?
I've always liked it. I just never set aside the time to sit down and watch it. So, but I was entertained with why he sometimes takes each of the different vehicles he takes. And I also didn't know that he sometimes drives vehicles that aren't his. Like the loaner rolls that he picked up. Who did he pick up? Is that Ricky Gervais? He picked up in the fancy rolls?
Yeah. Elite. assume I can share this without it being particularly personal, but we have a car savings account where we've been saving up to get me a car, because Mary's got the newer of our cars. We really only have one car. We also got my folks' car. They've got two of them while they're in Australia. So we've got plenty of cars, but I just happen to have a car, so we've been saving up money. But the next couple of weeks, the Dodgers bills are all coming due. And so it was as much exactly as was in the car account. So now, instead of getting a car, I'm getting our Dodger tickets.
Getting your Dodger tickets and not going into debt over it.
Not going into debt.
Not having to pay for credit card fees, etc.
Not having to borrow it from others or pay capital gains by selling stock. If you sell it, it's like we've got savings, but
Just use the savings for now.
It's in.
When our partners buy their share, we'll put the money back.
I don't know if I got partners, but our people who go in, we sell our Dodger seats because we have 6 seats and there's only 2 of us.
And nobody can go to 81 games.
Times 6 seats for sure. So we have field level seats. We've got a set of 4 in the first and second row, and then we've got dugout club seats that are in front of it. They come with food and everything. In the 5th row of the dugout club, just a couple of seats away from where the owners sit, like Magic Johnson, and Sandy
Billie Jean
Koufax,
King.
and Pants.
Pants!
Was that
1-1, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wait, I have to fix the wall here. I don't want the blue stuff to come down.
Sorry if that was bothering you, ladies and gentlemen.
Oop, sorry. That was entirely me. Totally off the table.
So the problem with the stock market going up is that if you sell the stock, you have to pay the capital gains tax on whatever you sold. So whereas it's good that it went up, it's not good to have to pay the capital gains. Or the other option is you can go into the margin where you basically borrow money against those stocks, but then you have to pay interest on it. So
Available cash is always better. Where'd it go?
It's better, even if you
Oh,
don't
there
get
it
a
is.
car. And generally, we work at home, and so it's pretty rare that both of us are gone at the same time. We usually go places together when we're both going to be out. Not always, but we've also, like I said, my parents have 2 cars that they're not using right now because they're in Australia. My mom's got a Highlander, and my dad's got a Lexus SUV thing, and that's
Hybrid.
200H or something.
February 3 something? I don't know.
So we're kind of just keeping it in shape. We don't drive them that much. Sabrina drove my parents more when she was in town. And Jacob's got his car that they shared basically because they drove at different times in high school because he drove for 2 years and then graduated and went to a school where he didn't need a car. And then she graduated and
high
went
school for 2 years and then went to a school where she didn't need a car.
Yeah, so Jacob now is at graduate school where he does need a car, so he took the BMW. So we don't have 3/4 cars. We have 1/2/3 cars. I know you're all very interested in this, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we call it Table Tennis Talk, because it's just that interesting. What we try to do is tell stories and hope that some of them turn out amusing. And you'd say, well, you could edit out the ones that aren't amusing. It's like, how would I know which ones you're going to enjoy?
We don't know what you like.
Yeah, we don't know which ones you're going to like. Maybe you like talking about capital gains, or maybe you like talking about car savings accounts at Charles Schwab and Company. Lauren Kurtz is our rep at Charles Schwab, is also my college roommate and good friend of ours. And also sponsored us with some t-shirts and some armbands for the Ping Pong podcast that we no longer carry with us because I don't want to carry anything. But if anybody needs an account at brokerage, you can call Lauren Kurtz at Charles Schwab. Thanks, Lauren.
We could wear the Ping Pong podcast team things all the way down here.
Yes, we could. And we don't. For good reason.
Good reason.
Because they're slightly weird, which is Lauren's intention in the first place. So we did wear them a few times. And maybe we'll wear them on the 100th anniversary or something. I put on everything anybody sent us. I think Beth Waba was talking about buying us a ping pong table, but we didn't
She
take her
kept
up
trying
on
to
it.
convince us to get a table because she
I
saw
think
one
she
on
wanted us to
sale.
pay for it instead of her paying for it. If she had paid for it, we probably would have accepted it. She found a deal on a table kind of like this, probably exactly like this.
Probably just like
It's
this.
like $200 at the Riverside Sears because they were closing, but here they're like $400 or $300 or something. But as you can see, because the table is crooked, they're not.
The quality is
bulletproof.
not so spectacular.
You buy a ping pong table for $200, you tend to get a $200 ping pong table. So they've got a $12,000 one at Travis Matthews. It's all made out of like steel and
Wow.
glass.
Sorry.
I am also sorry.
Floor ping pong, ladies and gentlemen. We just hit it back to each other where you can't see. Oh,
I talked to my mom from the hospital yesterday in Australia. They closed up the wound.
incision.
Right. For those of you who don't know, she had surgery on her vertebrae in her neck. They fixed or replaced. They replaced 2 and fixed 5, I think, and fused some together or some such stuff. And then it was getting infected, so she had to go back in to have them open it up and clean it out. And so she's been in the hospital again for maybe a week so far, but the infections stopped, so that's good. So they closed it up, I think, yesterday. Although in Australia it could be 5 weeks ago. Time doesn't exactly work. It's 17 hours ahead, which is easier to remember as 5 hours behind, but it's tomorrow. Anyway, I talked to her yesterday, and she sounded a little raspy, not her best.
Oh, sorry. Oh, wrong one.
Did it hit the table?
It did come back and hit the table, and then it popped off the top of my hand and went to the wall. Couldn't quite get a paddle on it.
So anyway, talked to her yesterday. She said she's feeling pretty good. They said she doesn't have to wear the brace anymore on her neck, but she's nervous about not wearing it. So it's like a safety blanket.
Insurance.
That she wants to be safe, but it sounds like her neck is healing well, and they closed the wound, and so it sounds like it's just a matter of a little healing at this point. But it sounds like it's going pretty well. So for those of you who are interested in her progress, I did get to talk to her yesterday. It looked like Holly, my niece, my sister's oldest,
Yes.
was on her way for a visit. I'm sure that will be nice for everybody to get to see Holly.
Do you know when the travel times are? Is it soon or is it not for a while?
No, on Facebook, Holly was in Hawaii with
Oh,
a friend.
like going now. Okay.
In
Cool.
Hawaii on a 24-hour layover with a
That's nice.
friend.
In transit right now is what I'm saying.
That's nice. Hate, ladies and gentlemen, that's what it's all about. Hate. Sorry. It's not exactly on the table, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. That was a long roll. What are you waving at?
I'm waving at Sayla. She's helping people.
Awesome. Since there are customers, that is good.
So she's best friends with the manager, so we're best friends with Sayla. Uh-oh.
Missed. Sorry. I totally missed the table, and now you have to chase it.
Those are like words.
Those are like words. Oops.
Some people say it's a video log, not a podcast, but that doesn't work with the word ping pong vlog, vlog. Doesn't make any sense. Ping pong podcast sounds great, but Karen says we can't use that because ping pong is trademarked. So we're down to table tennis talk, boink, which has some alliteration, some hitting out my knuckles, some going to get the ball, some explanation of what we're doing, and very little trademark infringement. Ready for the final volley?
Final volley. Alrighty. Sad. That was just terrible.
basketball where they wait
Whoop, pathetic.
for the ball to, you can inbound the ball, but the clock doesn't start till the player touches it. So it was like that, just waiting for the volley to start.
I
You want to use up the clock. This is a very interesting final volley.
Especially since it actually stopped, you must restart it.
It's just a surprise for people who watch the final volley and tell us the secret code word of the final volley. I'm sure if you offered a $1,000 prize, everybody would be able to tell you exactly what. They'd probably just go to the end now. You'd have to do it live, so the people couldn't. They wouldn't know it when it's going to end. Save, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a marvelous time today.
That's a way to end. Just dies in the middle of the table.